Who wins in the rematch? Oregon or Ohio State? We came off this game. It was everything we thought it would be. For the people that said that this game had boring moments, that's absolutely that's incorrect. It's just you don't understand the implications. 𝗕𝙤𝙀𝗀𝗀𝗀 was definitely, this came down to the wire, and you can't say that it didn't give them an advantage. Some people said that Dillon Gabriel was bad in this game. Huh? People were saying Will Howard was bad in this game. Huh? What did you think, man?
I don't understand the people who are unimpressed, whether it was with the game as a whole. I mean, come on, you had the number 2 and 3 teams in the country go neck and neck the whole entire way. It comes down to the final drive, the final play, and you're telling me that wasn't a good game, and you're saying you look at both the quarterbacks and say they didn't play well, when Will Howard had that horrendous mistake on that final play. But I mean, are you really going to let one play define an entire performance?
To me, I told you, what did I say after the game? I said that was coaching right there. I don't think that was a Will Howard issue at that point. Yeah,
like that's just like, you need to have awareness. As a coach, you need to be in your quarterback's ear, be like, hey, like, you need to know how much time is left on the clock. If you don't see something quick to like breaking out to the boundary, you need to, get a couple of yards and get down as fast as you can. No pump fake and then running around and sliding too late, right? Which is exactly what happened. I mean, you look at some incredible performances like Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl, right? Obviously, the Eagles didn't win, and Jalen Hurts played out of his mind, but he had that
like 500 yards that game.
Yeah, but he put the team on his back, right? It came down to the last drive and a holding penalty, right? But he had that one fumble. Is that fumble? Does that make that great performance suddenly not great? I don't think so.
Yeah,
I know I'm an Eagles fan, but
as much as I do, like, if you've never played the game, it's never coming down to one teammate to me. Like, that's like if you were a receiver, you know what I'm saying? That's like if I threw the ball to you and you went 70 yards down the field and some dude comes up and punches that shit out and they win the game because of that. I got to look at it as a whole. Yeah, was it a highlight of maybe why we lost? Absolutely. But the coach inside of me is going to say, we had 60 minutes to get it done.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the game may have been
you never should have put it in it. Yeah, which never should have came down to just your shoulders running 70 yards trying to win this game.
Yeah, like the game was decided on that play. It didn't go well for Ohio State, yes, but like you said, there were a multitude of things that they could have done better. I saw one Travion Henderson run, that he, tried to bounce outside on like a 3rd and 1 instead of just lowering his shoulder and getting the yard for, to extend the drive. But all that to say, like, I think it was an incredible game watching it, and that was something I anticipated. I think almost everyone anticipated going into this, right? And
yeah,
I'll say another popular sentiment going into the week was the loser of this game would probably win a rematch should they face again in the Big Ten championship game. At least that's how I felt, right? It was that whoever won this game, especially if it was Oregon, because they have the home field advantage, if it was a good game like it was, I can see Ohio State taking a rematch when you're on, a neutral site, right? You're going to be in a dome, like both teams, the weather's out of the equation, but the fact that it's not in a very loud Autzen Stadium, right? And Ohio State has a chance to fix those mistakes, and Oregon has a chance to fix their mistakes as well. I just see in those rematches generally as a general rule of thumb, I feel like the losing side the first time around, it just has a little bit more of an advantage just in terms of motivation, game planning. Usually if they lose in a close game, they can address those mistakes. So I still I picked Ohio State to win it the first time around on a neutral site. I still like Ohio State, at least for now, because I didn't see anything in that game that made me think, wow, Oregon is, head and shoulders a better team than Ohio State. They were neck and neck the entire way.
Yeah, we had said this, right? And we want to establish it for you guys if you guys didn't hear this. This the reason why this game being 31-32 is because of the matchups. But before we get into the matchups, let's just go ahead and say it like this. Oregon won. They have, and we picked Ohio State. I think Sawyer was the only one that picked Oregon.
Yeah.
But this was a hard one to predict because of the home field advantage and the caliber. We weren't ones that were throwing the baby out with the bathwater at the beginning of the season when they had to close games against Boise State and those guys. Like, brand new quarterback, Evan Stewart's first year, Jordan James's first time starting out, a couple new pieces on that defense, you know, them coming off of having another tragic loss inside of the Oregon family. You know, when Kyrie Jackson went out 2 years ago, was Spencer Webb. I don't know if you guys noticed the two ducks on the back of their helmets. That's what that stands for, which is, I love that touch. That, you know, Oregon does it the right way with a lot of things that they're doing. But outside of that, we had said that if Oregon was to win this game, this gives them all the confidence in the world that they're the team that they thought they were, right? But also, this is not a knock on Ohio State, because we said the Ohio State team, or if the Oregon would have lost, this would give them confidence that they could beat this team the next time that they play. I think that this is reminiscent of Oregon-Washington all over again, but except right now, Dan Lannon has got this is probably the biggest win on his resume by beating the number 2 team, and this gives him every confidence in the world. Now, outside of the score, man, this is a hard game for both defenses, right? We're probably looking at the 2 best defenses in college football. Like, Oregon surprised the hell out of me with a lot of stuff that they were doing. But even more so, let's just go to the offensive side of the ball. Will Howard was 28 for 35, 326 yards and 2 touchdowns. 𝙤𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗲𝗀𝗀 was 23 for 34, 341 yards and 2 touchdowns. An evenly matchup of both of those. Then let's go to the running backs. Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins versus Jordan James and Noah Whittington. Like, the storylines write themselves, right? And then you have Will Howard and 𝙤𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀 that can get out the pocket and make moves. Then you go to the receiving core. Evan Stewart, Tez Johnson versus Jeremiah Smith and Emeka Egbuka. G. Scott versus Terrence Ferguson. Like, and their offensive lines are both legit. Like, Oregon has probably, if not, in some people's mind, 2 great tackles that are going to come out into this draft. They're up there with some of the best. And Ohio State's whole offensive line probably has the best left tackle right now, who actually got hurt in this game, I believe. So it's so much to think about. It's so much to, you know, the score ended up the way that it is, you know, it's beautiful for the game of college football. I'm just excited. Yeah, but I agree with you about Ohio State, man. I think the game planning that's going to happen with Chip Kelly the second time around is going to be a little different. And we told y'all about Dillon Gabriel. Everybody wanted to beat this dude down. Every single time this dude goes out and has a bad game, he comes back and he smacks a team. Statistically, you know, he can only do so much. Those deep balls he was throwing were legit. I'm just saying, me and Klee were arguing with people about his deep ball this offseason, and he put it on display. And I mean, it's right in the breadbasket. Trayshawn Holden, that was nasty work, man. He deserved to be kicked out of that game.
Yeah.
He deserved that, because that's the worst thing that you can do to anybody on the football field. I'd rather you kick me in the nuts than spit in my face. Like, to be completely honest with you. So, you know, that's nasty work.
Respect, yeah.